do we really know about Vladimir Putin, Bianca, and what did we learn yesterday? Of course, perception is reality for the people inside Putin's Russia. He carefully controls and cultivates this image.
He sure does. And joining us now to discuss Putin and sort of break down his body language is behavior expert and a former Army interrogator, Gregory Hartley. Thank you so much, Gregory, for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I want to focus first on the video and the soundbite we got from Putin yesterday. Sitting at his desk, you can see he's kind of slunched over. And at one point he said, and we're translating this, of course, here, fine, you don't want to see a friend and an ally in us, but why turn us into an enemy? There's only one answer. It's not about our political regime or something else. They just don't need a country that large and independent as Russia. That is the answer to all the questions. That is the source for traditional American politics at the Russian front. I mean, it kind of sounds like Vladimir Putin is a jilted lover almost here. And what about his slouching? What's up with that?
Well, I think, number one, you're playing to your own audience. You said it right. He is managing perception internally. He may be talking to America, but he's talking to his people. And there's a lot of bravado there. The slouching is kind of like, yeah, whatever, whatever it is, it is. You notice his hands are not very emphatic. He's not moving. And when he does show one thing, he shows whatever you want. He raises his shoulders. That's kind of helplessness or, yeah, whatever. If you watch him and you watch through this entire video, you'll see him raise one shoulder occasionally for uncertainty, and he illustrates or makes his point with his left hand when he has a strong message and his right hand when he has a weak message. Really interesting to watch.
And we'll have to take note on that and watch, as this continues, because it could be going on for months and months, Yeah. Gregory, can we also get your take on Putin's dramatic settings? I mean, he was signing those independent documents yesterday, but flanked with flags, pillars that would make Greek revival architecture look simple. These ceilings are so high that in the wide shot, it almost dwarfs the desk. I want to know, do you think this is about, the ultimate dictator flex here?
Well, I think it's empire. This is a guy who came in, took Russia from oligarchs after the fall of the wall and all of that, and turned it into whatever he calls democracy today, very different than what we would call democracy. But you can see he's got the trappings of empire here. And I think that's another callback to the great Russia. And I think that's why he's doing it. If you notice, the one thing he does very well is when he does sign those decrees, he makes eye contact and reminds them, I just did this.
I did notice that. And a little smile, almost of his own pure satisfaction.
The other thing, too, Vladimir Putin
is what I call that. Yeah.
Vladimir Putin's a former spy. He obviously is aware of this stuff and uses it to his advantage. The other thing, too, that I think is fascinating about Putin is his love for Judo. And, if you look at the philosophy of Judo, in short, and this is what I read off of Wikipedia, full disclosure here, it's resisting a more powerful opponent will result in your defeat, but adjusting and evading your opponent's attack will cause him to lose his balance. His power will be reduced, and you will defeat him. This can apply to whatever the relative values of power are, thus making it possible for weaker opponents to beat significantly stronger ones. And that's Vladimir Putin in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you think about, I always say whatever made the organism successful, the organism will do. So he's always done this stuff, and it's coming back. You can't miss that he stages everything by intent. And the thing that my old Russian friends would have said is the eagle may soar, but the bear may sleep and come back. And that's the mindset these guys have. And you can't miss what he's doing. He's asking us to the table. He's trying to force us to the table because we have weak leadership. And if we were to go in today and he still invaded, we'd look stupid. If we went today and he didn't invade, he would say, well, see, it took the United States to settle this. He's still a player at the end of the day.
Right. And his image, as John, alluded to, is so carefully crafted, what he does release, whether it's him on a horseback with no shirt or those infamous ice baths. Obviously in Russia, they can handle a lot of cold. But isn't there something that's significant about when he just sort of goes right into an icy bath that he's also showing, look how strong I am to the world and that I can almost be, invincible here?
Yeah, all of that is crafted image. Everything this guy does is crafted. Anytime you're talking to an intelligence collector, and I'm a Cold War era guy from that time frame, anything they're saying you should never trust, because the nature of what we do is get information at all costs. Everything he says is setting up the next question. Everything he does is setting up the next piece of information. So he's staging everything. All of that's about his image and about his power.
And based on what you're seeing so far, the message we saw yesterday, is he giving anything away about his next move?
Well, if you watch the one video where he's sitting kind of close like this, we call that turtling. Usually a person is avoiding giving away information. They're trying to make the target smaller, and they're making their body smaller. His hands are locked down. That's him intentionally trying not to give away information. And in fact, the only two things he does is when Lavrov is talking and he's talking about Washington, you notice him massage the desk with his hand. That's nervous energy release. And then reach to his brow and touch his brow, and his blink rate goes up. It's a really interesting play to see that he does bleed a little bit of information. It tells you why he's so locked down in the beginning.
Fascinating stuff, indeed.
It really is. He'd be a great poker player, right? But we know one of his tells, a few of his tells here from you today. Gregory Hartley, thank you so much. We'll have to have you back on. This is really fascinating stuff.
Love to come back. Thank you for your time.